So gun control is a very controversial topic in the United States. Some people believe that it is a constitutional right, and others believe that it should be heavily regulated by the government. But did you know that when compared to other developed countries, the United States has had the most mass shooting occurrences in the whole world? It is important to state facts or opinions when discussing this topic, which is why I researched the United States, Japan, and Australia's gun control policies so I can compare them to each other. As I mentioned before, the United States has had the most mass shootings. However, when compared to other countries with low gun-related crime rates, there are major differences in the gun control policies. So I'm going to be talking about the United States gun control policies, and I'm going to compare them to Japan's and Australia's gun control laws. So, and both of these countries have very low gun-related crimes. So first I want to talk about the United States gun control policies. So in the Constitution, it is stated that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. So basically, gun ownership is protected by the Constitution, even though there are certain regulations and limitations to this. So according to the Council on Foreign Relations, these limitations include people from getting a gun if they are criminals, minors, or if they have a mental issue or mental illness. Background checks are also a requirement when obtaining a gun. However, these vary from state to state and they're not usually very strict. In a journal titled A Timeline of Gun Control Laws in the U.S., states that in 1994 there was an assault weapon ban called the Public Safety and Recreational Firearms Use Protection Act. This was a temporary prohibition in effect from September of 1994 to 2004. And this attempt was not permanent, so it didn't cause long-term changes. And other attempts to ban assault weapons have also failed. So to put things in perspective, according to the Washington Post, and I quote, "As of 2015, there are more guns than people in the United States. This rate is far higher than any other developed nation." So the United States is one of the countries with the highest gun ownership rates in the whole world. Also, it is important to note that the second deadliest mass shooting in the whole world occurred in Las Vegas last year, 2017. So, on the other hand, Japan has very strict gun control policies. So, as stating in the article by the Council on Foreign Relations, the only firearms allowed are shotguns, air guns, and guns with specific research or industrial purposes. So background checks are also a requirement, but these are very strict background checks, and they're very extensive to show that the person that's buying this gun is not going to injure society, but they have a purpose, as mentioned before. According to the same article, Japan has the lowest gun homicide rates in the whole world. So it is 1 in 10 million. And when compared to the United States, Japan has 0 gun homicides per 100,000 people, and the United States has an average of 3.54 homicides per 100,000. Also, Australia is a country with very strict gun control policies. In 1996, Australia suffered a mass shooting that killed 35 people. So after this incident, there was drastic changes in gun control policies. And according to the Washington Post, Australia banned some semi-automatic and self-loading rifles and shotguns. So it took one mass shooting to cause drastic changes in Australian law. However, as I mentioned before, in 2017, the second deadliest mass shooting in the whole world, where 58 people died, occurred in the United States, and no drastic changes have occurred. So, like Japan, assault weapons and some semi-automatic rifles are not for sale in these countries. And also, the process to buy a firearm in Australia is very strict, like it is in Japan. So when compared to other countries like Japan and Australia, America seems to overprotect their gun rights. This has caused an increase in mass shooting rates and gun-related crime rates. So if America wants to lower these alarming rates, there needs to be drastic changes in gun control policies, like there was in Australia in 1996, or the laws need to be strict as they are in Japan right now. So it is important to realize that it is way, way more important to protect people's lives than it is to protect gun rights.